you bring up imposter syndrome. What is that exactly for? I see people use it on social media. And when I look it up, half of the time what they're using it as, it has nothing to do with what they're saying.
Yeah, a lot of people use that word out of context, similar to how they use narcissism out of
Yeah,
context these days, because everybody a narcissist.
everybody's a narcissist. Exactly.
Yep, but imposter syndrome really only occurs in high achieving individuals. And if you look at the actual definition of high achieving, people who are doing something with their lives, pretty much. We're just gonna call it what it is, right? And what that means is these high achieving individuals, they can't really accept or attribute their success to things that they do. They attribute it externally. So when they're navigating these spaces and they're gaining all these accomplishments and accolades, they attribute it to either luck, and they're constantly worried about being found out as a fraud, right? Because they don't think that they deserve or belong to be in the position that they're in. So they're always worried about, okay, when are they going to find out that they only hired me for this position because it was a fluke, or whatever was on my resume
black.
was, yeah,
Yeah.
right? So they're always attributing it to something external to themselves when, you really deserve to be there. Like, you did that and you earned to be in the position that you're in. So that's really what imposter syndrome is. So a lot of folks are just inflating their accomplishment.
How do you deal with how do you deal with imposter syndrome if you try if somebody come to you and they have that and you're trying to first of all, before we get to that, is it a mental term?
So it's not a diagnosis, it's just a phenomenon. And what that means is it's just a lived experience that people have. So it's just something that you experience. And the research shows us that 70% of people are going to experience imposter syndrome at least one point in their life. So it's not even something that you experience continuously either. It's just something that you experience in certain moments where, yeah, you could call it that, yeah. In certain moments where, dang, you're accomplishing certain things that you never really thought you could accomplish. And you're like, yo, why is this even happening right now? Gotta be a fluke. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of what it is.
So do they associate that to like people who feel guilty of their success too? Is it like can it be comparable?
I to an extent. So if you're thinking about like survivor's guilt,
Yeah.
right? People who come from like volatile backgrounds, or their first generation in their families, or, they're really breaking generational curses, like a lot of us are talking about these days. They're really the first to do something. That guilt can definitely contribute to the imposter syndrome, or even elevate the imposter syndrome that they're experiencing. But yeah, there's definitely some external things that really elevate it. But that's more so that internal, like, yo, definitely don't deserve to be in this position that I'm in. And then that guilt kind of escalates that, right? Because I feel guilty that I'm the only one in my family to blank, get this master's, get a job like this, right? Treat my children this way, no matter what it is. Because imposter syndrome don't only show up in one realm, which is the professional realm. It shows up in like your personal life and so on too.
So is that a medical term for that? Also, is that a diagnosis? I should say.
No,
it's not, a
diagnosis.
Okay. So
no.
So neither one of them are diagnoses.
No.
Okay. So I often wonder, because I see a lot of people that well, I know a few people that has made it to a certain place in life, and they have brothers, sisters, uncles, even maybe their parents haven't made it to where they've made it, and they feel obligated or guilty to always have to be there for them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's that survivor's guilt. So when you think about like guilt versus shame, right? Shame is basically saying, oh, I'm a bad person, while guilt is saying, oh, I did something wrong. And oftentimes survivor's guilt come from, this is the blueprint, this is what I'm used to, this is what I've seen. Everyone around me was doing blank. So if I'm going a different direction, it's right on the outside and based on societal standards, but it's kind of wrong based on where I'm coming from, right? So it's kind of attributing, like, if I don't help this family member when I have this success and they don't have it, I'm going to feel guilty because that's bad, right? The behavior. is bad. It's not normal to the functioning of this structure or dynamic. So
Yeah, I get it.